Tip 2. So basically, every time you have an assignment given,
I don't understand, bitch. Don't understand, I don't understand.
hello guys, I'm finally back from the video as I did promise. So basically this video is about how to get distinction stars in all your Btec courses. So from what I've heard, all of the Btec courses now, 50% of it is exams, I think. I do not know the percentage, so I'm sorry. And I think the rest of it is coursework. So it's technically the same as a GCSE, but this time they just added the exams. I'm starting to forget words, man. So yeah, this time they started to add exams. Like I said from my previous video, I think it was A-level versus Btec, if you guys want to check it out. So I basically said that I used to do A-levels before, that didn't go too well, so then I started to do Btec. So when I started to do Btec, basically my year was the last year to just have coursework, nothing else but coursework. So these are the few tips I managed to come across the 2 years of doing Btec. So the things I should have actually done, but you know, you start changing and stuff like that. So I basically want to share it with you guys. If you guys are thinking to do, for those people that are thinking to do Btec, except for A-level, and they just want to know how it is and stuff like that. Yes, I do not know much about the exam one because like I said, I don't do exams anymore. I haven't done exams when I started with this Btec course. But I will give you some tips. So yeah, let's begin. Tip 1. You should invest in a planner. Yes, sometimes you get a school, they give you planners, but not gonna lie, the planners are not that great. Well, they don't even look stylish. They kind of look boring, so you just don't want to use the planners anyway, so you end up not using it. Like me, like when I was doing my A-levels, I used planners a lot, but I never used the school planner. I always used my own planner. And then when I started my Btec, at the first beginning of like year 12, I started using the planner, but then it just went downhill. I stopped using it. I was just like, I don't need this. And I do need it because the amount of deadlines, and sometimes you end up forgetting the deadline, and your friend will be like, oh yeah, there's a deadline tomorrow, and you're just like, raw, all-nighter tonight. So yeah, I would definitely invest in one of those planners. You can even go to Poundland and you find a flipping planner, flimsy planner for like £1. So just invest in a planner basically. So if you have a planner, you can just write all the deadlines, what the things you need to do, what you need to include for your assignment, and how to get it. So if you just have that, it's pretty much stress-free. Do not use your phone as a planner because that does not work. I've tried many times, and no, do not use it. Tip 2. So basically, every time you have an assignment given,
I don't understand, bitch. Don't understand, I don't understand.
You must make sure your teacher gives you a brief. For those people that don't know what a brief is basically the spec. So what you need to include in your assignment. That's what a brief is. It will tell you all the things you need to include, all the keywords you need to be placed in your assignments, all that kind of jazz. And yeah, tip 3. Just make sure that you ask your teachers for help. Like even if you completed your assignment, like let's say you done it, let's say you gave it in 3 days before the deadline, just hand it to the teacher. Tell the teacher, check what other things do you need to add before the deadline, and then they'll tell you, yeah, you add this, that, and all that. You're finished. There you go. You got your distinction star. Boom, bam, move on. Tip 4. So for tip 4, I would advise you, Google is not your friend. As many other students might think, yeah, if I do Btec, I'll just, basically me and Google, yeah, we're gonna be best of friends. Google is your enemy of progress. I'm sorry, Google, but sometimes, yeah, you'll be searching on things like, how does the brain work? Google will give you, how does the heart work? Sometimes, like, Google does not have the information that is there just because people haven't even published that information. So that was just an example. Obviously, Google will have that information. But there's some information Google will not have. So you will have to use other resources like books. Yeah, like books, or even your teachers, you need to ask your teachers sometimes. So Google is not your best friend. If you think like, yeah, I'm just going to be using Google, believe me, you're just going to end up having a merit. Tip 5. Tip 5, it could be like reference your work. Many people don't know, but sometimes if you don't reference your work, especially when you have been doing like 8 pages and you done not even 8 pages, let's say 12 pages of back to front, like your information is spot on, everything. But if you can't be able to provide reference, you ain't gonna get that grade. I'm sorry, but you need to have a reference. Like the teacher would just mark it. They'd be like, oh, you don't have a reference, there you go, it's a merit. And plus, if the teacher don't mark it properly and it gets sent off to the examiner, that's it. Like they would be like, sorry, you haven't provided enough evidence for that, so therefore you got a merit, or you got a pass, or you just got nothing, you got a U, basically. So that's the problem. So make sure you always have your reference. This is the last tip, yeah. Tip 6. Tip 6. Okay, your friends, yeah, sometimes they'll be like, not even friends, okay, if you have really close friends and you know they're not gonna copy from your work, and you know that they're just gonna, you know, use your information, not use your information in terms of copying, but sort of help themselves, then it's fine. However, there are some people in this world, they are just goats in this world. So if they ask you, oh, can I have some work, can I borrow your work, I won't copy it, and you're feeling like this here, do not give them your work. The worst case scenario is they'll finish the work before you do, they give it in, then you give it in, then the teacher will be questioning you, be like, oh, so you copy work now? Is that you, yeah? You copy work? Raw. So don't do that business. Just do not give it into them. Do not give them your work, basically. Anyway, guys, I hope these 6 or 5 tips were useful to you guys. These are the tips that I should have really followed, but some of them I did, some of them I did not. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video and you can take things into account. So basically, bye, and I'll see you next week. And don't mind my spot, because this spot is stubborn, so I'm sorry if it's just on your face like hello. But you know, I'm really sorry.